Hi, welcome to my channel, Reader Woman. My name's Judy, and let's talk Cromwellathon. I had heard about it. I didn't really jump on board. I heard that Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse was doing it, and I was like, yeah, that sounds interesting, maybe. But all of a sudden, I had this huge desire to read Wolf Hall. Why, you may ask? I've been hearing about it from Steve Donahue for a year or two now, and I was like, oh, it sounds kind of interesting. And like normal, I'm like, oh yeah, I know enough British monarch history to be able to not have a problem. So while everybody else were reading biographies of Thomas Cromwell, you know, it was like, I was kind of scratching my head going, wow, was it Thomas Cromwell who went around and, you know, I remember he was in Ireland, and everyone in the Irish still hate him to this day, like 200 or 300 years later. Is that? No, that was Oliver Cromwell. Oh. So I just grabbed an electronic copy of the book and started reading. I know. I am a squirrel reader, just like Silji. You know, we like to flit around, and whatever works, works. So all of a sudden I got this total urge to read Wolf Hall. And I thought, while I was reading it and everybody else was reading it, I might as well make a video about it. I didn't know nearly enough about British history, the Tudor history, at all. Has it been a problem for the book? I did read the Wikipedia article, which was quite a long article about Thomas Cromwell before I started the book. That was my whole biography. I mean, Alba at Seriella, she read a tome that was like, you know, this big. You know me, I just read a page. But it gave me an idea. So I'm about 65% of the way through the book. Well, I did take a break. I found myself having to take a few days off. I had family, party, a variety of things. I had just too much going on in my life to be trying to read it. I find that I really do need to focus while I am reading it. I'm loving it. I really am. Is it the easiest read? No, but it's not exactly the hardest read either. What's interesting to me with Mantel, with what her choice of how to do this exposition, which people have talked about, normally someone would have used the I voice, you know, that Thomas Cromwell would have been our protagonist, and she uses he. And that can be a little confusing because he is talking to him who's talking to him who talked about her in a conversation with him. So you have to be careful when you're starting the sentences and it starts with a he. Well, who exactly are we talking about? And then when you start hearing or reading inner monologue, you realize, we're back to Cromwell, which is a very different way of doing things. Very, very much so. But what I think it does do is he is her protagonist. And I don't know enough about Thomas Cromwell, but from what I understand is he is always seen as the villain. And what she's writing, he is not a villain. He is an opportunist. He is a man to fear. He knows people. He definitely is a man of action, a man of thought, a man, you know, he's a lawyer, he was a soldier, he was in Italy, he was all over Europe. He's met all of these amazing, you know, writers, thinkers, artists of the period, which I assume is true because she definitely is very meticulous about her history. And so yes, I'm finding it fascinating. I'm learning a lot, but I am noticing that I have to go carefully when I'm reading because it's important to know who is thinking what. And I have to say, I wish Thomas More spelled his name M-O-O-R-E, because when a sentence starts with more, you're not sure if it's a name or if it's, is it an adverb? We'll call it an adverb. You can tell me I'm wrong. I don't care. I'm not a total grammarian. So, but yeah, it's challenging that way. But the story itself is amazing. Once again, it shows me how little I know about Henry VIII's Tudor dynasty. I always thought that Anne Boleyn was maybe around for a year or two before he got rid of his other wife, and that's just not the case. This is a very long, very prolonged romantic adventure. And so yeah, I really am having a hard time putting it down. I will be finished with it probably by next week, or probably later this week. It's only Tuesday, so but yeah, I highly recommend it. And if you're like me, just read a couple of internet articles and jump in. I have a feeling that in my world, what's going to happen is I'm going to read this one, the next one, and then get the new one. And then I'm going to say, oh, well, I want to know more. And so then I'm going to be hitting the history books. And then after I do that, then I'll come back and reread the series. But it sounds like it's a series, and I can understand why, that people read over and over and over again. So yeah, I'm really becoming a Hilary Mantel fan, and Wolf Hall is amazing. And it's quite interesting. You know, you pick characters that you like, and I really find myself having a lot of sympathy for Mary Boleyn. And I'm wondering where Cromwell's interest in Jane Seymour. I mean, I think he sees her as a possible wife for his son. But yeah, I'm anxious to see where this all ends up. I mean, this is old history, and I'm sure by the time the series is over with, there's going to be a ton of heads rolling and death. But yeah, it's going to be a fun ride seeing it all unfold. So if you're not reading it, you probably should. Pick up a copy. I just got a digital copy, so I can't even show you a book. But the way I'm liking it, I will have to invest in a hard copy. So anyways, I hope you're having a great time reading something, and join us on the Cromwellathon. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.